Hey folks, here I am back again. It's your guy, Adolphus AD Moore. I'm here on the corner. And guess what? Let me just say that he hadn't heard this in a while. It's almost been 8 weeks since the last time we had to say this. Texans won. Texans won. That is correct. The Houston Texans went to Nashville today and took out the Tennessee Titans. Yep, that's right. No Derrick Henry, none of all that. We know Derrick Henry wasn't going to play, but still, we felt like that. And the Titans have their issues with injuries and everything, but this is the NFL, and so does everybody else. And let's face it, everybody's getting a paycheck on Monday morning, direct deposit going in everybody's account. And that's right, all these guys getting paid. And besides, the Texas needed a victory. So, and they got one today. And be quite candid with you, no, I did not pick them today. I did not. I'm gonna be candid. I was, so um, being part of a couple of fantasy picks and leagues and so forth. Devin Wade's sports rap group. I'm part of his group and picking teams. I didn't pick the Texans today, but as the fan of me, I'm glad to see these guys get out the schneid and actually and turn it out. But before I get there, I want to take a little serious note, folks. Just past Friday, the city of Houston paid tribute to a lady who I basically just about all of my adult life and definitely all the part of my time since I've been married. Had homegoing ceremony, and I'm talking about no other than the life and the legacy of Mrs. Beatrice Lehman Green. She was the matriarch of Holy Cross Lutheran Church. You're probably wondering, well, what is so significant about that? Mrs. Green, that church is the first Black Lutheran congregation in the state of Texas. And so I want to just take a few moments, a couple of minutes, and just pay tribute to this dynamic woman. Her service was, and I was been having to be a part and having to participate in her service, and it was a small tribute. You're probably saying, well, what all did she do? It's what all did she did not do. Mrs. Green was 108 years old. We read about other folks who have lived and had dynamic lives, but she was a iconic civil rights leader in the city of Houston. Uh, Her husband, but one of the significant things that she done, and there's a book out called The Man Who Ran Washington, The Life and Times of James A. Baker III by Peter Baker and Susan Glasser. And this was talking about James Baker and the amount of influence that he wielded in Washington. Well, Mrs. Green, in her own significant way, had a lot to do in the shaping and molding of one James A. Baker, and he paid significant tribute to that fine lady. A couple, during her homegoing service this past Friday, and so it's when you think about what she's seen and what all she has experienced in her lifetime. I remember emphatically right after Barack Obama was had won the election, they announced his election that Sunday. I was up after the announcements, and I asked the folks that's significant, and I specifically came to her first, and I asked her, in your lifetime, did you think you'll see a president that looked like you of your color? And she was in a fine and just pristine type manner. She just simply said no. And here was in 2018 when the Baker Institute at Rice University brought Barack Obama to Houston. There's a picture in the foyer of our church that she got a chance to not only meet him, but that picture she got a chance to see the man that she never thought would become president of the United States. So to and I realize this country, we're teeter-tottering on a lot of different things right now. We have a lot of issues. We just got a verdict that was just rendered in Kenosha, Wisconsin, that leaves you with your head scratching. But the verdict still as it is. And and I have to just simply say, if the roles have been reversed, where we've gotten that same type of justice, I think not. But that's not what I'm here. That's not why I'm on. I want to just simply state and just say, thank God for Beatrice Lehman Green. Thank God for what she done, because her and a legacy of other folks used to go to Austin on the weekend before the voting rights bill was passed and spend time and just live there on the grounds of the Austin and encouraging one to get voting right. And here you look at some of the things that this very same state now, it's some of its draconian type rules and what they're trying to have introduced and trying to cut back on voters' right. And at the time, they were not even getting having a whisper of being able to vote. And so I just find it just, I'm just amazed and just how she just kept her smile and that genteel spirit of hers and continue to walk and continue to have the smile and encourage you. So, folks, it is it is fine and it is fitting. So, without further ado, let's get back to talking about some football. And without further ado, I got to bring the man in. Yep, it's the lunch break. Yep, Mr. Andre AJ Jones. I'm going to bring him in to the studio right now. There he is. Hey man, if folks don't know us, if folks really don't know, they might just figure out I'm you and you me.
Man, look, I don't mind hiding under your namesake for a little while, brother, because this one right here,
Hey,
you hear them tell it. I'm the Malcolm X of sports talk radio. So which I guess is supposed to be. I guess that's supposed to be a slight, but hey, thank you, I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know what? H-Rap Brown or whatever. Okay, right on. Texans won today, man. How about that?
Bruh, I literally said on one of the other stations that I do sports for, I said, why not the Texans? I said, look at all these upsets that have been happening in the NFL over the last couple of weeks. So why not the Texans? Why can't they go into this game with a chance to win and actually pull it off? And man, when I got out of church and I looked at that score, I was like, how they gonna blow this one? And then I looked at the weather, I was like, that's how they gonna blow it right there. And brother, they hung on and they won that thing on the road.
And on the road, I mean, the Tennessee Titans had 3 times as much total yardage. I mean, but the thing about it, and the thing, what they say, turnovers will kill you.
Yes,
Turnover,
sir.
four interceptions, and
Yep.
at the 4 interceptions, and then I mean a couple of sacks, and the thing about it, Grenard, they left here. He was at home. They didn't take their leading sack guy with them.
Right.
But
Right.
the other guys, I mean, you always say next man up, and we've been hearing that. It's a cliche. It might be a cliche term, but the thing about it, those guys stepped up. Bernard Hill, from the linebacking standpoint, had a monster game today.
Yep.
And what was interesting about that, it was the fact that let's see, what I'm trying to figure out, we had the 2 interceptions during his post game. He literally said that all the film study, he said, talking about Tannehill is not a great drop back passer. And I'm going and I don't think that's a slight. I mean, all the quarterbacks got their own unique styles and standards and so forth. He said, but it was just something about when you force, Tannehill is a dangerous quarterback on the run when you let him get on the run and so forth.
Yep.
But if you keep him in the pocket, he said he has a tendency to show you, and Mr. can show you exactly what he wants to do. So
Desmond King, King.
Desmond King, yeah. Desmond, we mentioned that today. So but I would just quite candidly, and Tyrod Taylor, for all the foibles from last week to this week, it's like that was a Tyrod that I knew. That was a Tyrod that I had a lot of confidence in prior to him getting hurt, and that was a Tyrod today that I had felt like if he hadn't got hurt, going into that second ball game, that they probably wouldn't. I just honestly feel like they wouldn't have gone 8 games on an 8-game losing streak. Because Tyrod, I felt like there's not a ball game that if Tyrod's available with everything being equal, they can win.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's so key. And you've been in the interview room. I think the last time they were home, I asked Davis Mills about it. I said, Coach Cully has praised you for taking care of the football and not turning it over. And we saw clearly today that when Tyrod does the same, there's some other things that he can do as a quarterback that Davis Mills cannot do that literally led to them winning this game today. I mean, those 2 touchdowns from Tyrod with his legs were as important as if he threw them from the pocket. So,
Oh,
while you got the purists and the fundamentalists out there, oh, you got to be able to play from the pocket. Well, God, you got to be able to score touchdowns. I don't care if you get them from the pocket, the bathroom, the concession stand. You got to be able to score touchdowns. And Tyrod Taylor took care of the ball today. They scored touchdowns. And we were talking about Tennessee. Yeah, they had the interceptions, but Doc, they put the ball on the ground 4 times.
yeah.
4 times. So there literally could have been 8 turnovers in this game, and I give the Texans credit. No, they didn't dominate Tennessee. No, they didn't stat them or anything like that, but they won the game. And we're going to have folks out there, yeah, but it was an ugly win. And what about this? And what about they won the game? When you riding in there on that big of a losing streak, you got to find a way to win the game.
Well, not only did they find a way to win the game, man. I like the way you sort of came back. Well, it was kind of ugly. You know what? They don't put ugly up. They don't put ugly wins up. They don't put nice wins. All they put up there is W's. It's called a W or an L. And and tell me somebody. I'm waiting on somebody to tell me, oh, that was a beautiful loss. I'm going like, yeah, but you still lost, dude. Like, come on. It's and I realize people are so frustrated with the Texans right now with the overall, with everything at the way it is. But for somebody to say, well, that was an ugly win. Okay. So you would rather have another 8 or 9 games of beautiful losses? No, give me ugly wins any day. I'll take them any day. Because there's a lot of things that you can decipher. But to me, I think today, we saw a lot about and you're right. And I'm going back to what we had experienced in the interview room and doing camp and seeing some of these guys. Yeah, there's and I stated this then. There's some character guys on this team, and trust me, it's been like a revolving elevator with players being cut, gone, and we sort of sit there scratching our heads. But these guys, they keep coming to work every day. They pick up their lunch pails and they keep coming to work every day. And to a great degree, nobody's in there just sort of going like, you sort of wonder, yeah, okay, but to me, and this is just me, it's a little bit. I don't really have that big of an issue. I mean, I have an issue with you losing, but those guys, they step up to the plate. Nobody's sort of skirting their responsibility. They said nobody's making excuses about those 8 losses coming into this game today. And I'll state again, I was expecting it to be 9 in a row today.
I was as well.
I didn't know, but anyway, what do you think? Right now, you think about it, the AFC South, they're up in the running. I mean, can you imagine this? They are in the running for the AFC South.
I'm not gonna let myself imagine it. And I'm not a player. I'm not in the front office. I'm not on that coaching staff. But reality sets in. I'm happy for the guys, man. I'm happy for those cats that come in that media room and face us and answer those questions. And you see them trying to find the bright spots, man. One of the guys that I'm happy for is Brandon Cooks. He is real when he comes in that interview room, and Grenard and the other fellas. And I'm happy for Coach Kelly, man. I'm real happy for Coach Kelly because I felt like, when they came off the bye, having Tyrod as the quarterback was a victory for Kelly. I really believe that there were a couple of people in the front office that will remain nameless that wanted to ride the rest of the season out with Davis Mills. And Coach Kelly stuck to his convictions. He's been saying since the beginning of the season, Tyrod Taylor is our starter. Tyrod Taylor is our starter. When Tyrod went down, what did he say? He's our starter. What did he say? When he comes back, he's our starter.
Right.
And he won that battle. And Tyrod did not look good in the return.
No.
But there were several games where Davis Mills didn't look good either. And you can't overlook them for one guy and hold them against the other guy. So I'm glad to see Coach Cully win that battle because Tyrod Taylor redeemed himself and was directly related to them winning this game against a team that they should have had no chance to beat. So again, this is one of those where I'm just going to celebrate this one for those guys. But man, to say that they're going to compete in the AFC South, did you see Indianapolis today? Did you see what they're doing on that ground game? And Carson Wentz is doing just enough not to mess up a good thing.
Well, Carson Wentz. What's happening as far as Carson Wentz is concerned? Carson Wentz doesn't have to. They're not
expecting. He better not.
No, yeah, because if you really, if I'm gonna tell you something, the Indianapolis coach, and I'm gonna be quite candid with, I'm shocked that they went into Buffalo and just literally they own Orchard Park today.
Bruh, they ran them in the ground. They still picking Buffalo Bill players out of their cleats right now, man. It was, but again, they've been doing this for the last several weeks. It's like Frank Reich finally woke up and said, hey, Wentz, do this. Everybody else, do what you do. Get the ball to Jonathan Taylor. Get the ball to Jonathan Taylor. And he has not disappointed. And to tie it back to the Texans best running back played in Philadelphia today. The Texans' best running back, Mark Ingram, was battling for the Saints in Philadelphia today. Right. So you got Rex Burkhead that I guess led the team in rushing, 2.2 yards a carry. I mean, okay. Thank God for the almost 5 yards a carry that Tyrod Taylor had. I mean, again, they ran the ball as a team for over 100 yards. That's good. That's what you want. But this team is found a way to do it today with what they had. They didn't worry about what they didn't have. They didn't worry about who was back home and who was traded. They didn't worry about who didn't get traded. But they messed around and won, and that's why they play the games.
You know what? You mentioned something about Burkhead, and I'm gonna tell you something. I think Burkhead probably was the ideal back today on that surface.
Those conditions, yeah, in those conditions.
Because all Rex was doing was looking for a hole. He was getting the ball, taking one cut, planting that foot, and going like, "There's a hole. I'm running through it." He wasn't sitting there stuttering. He wasn't sitting there giving you a shake and a bake, Coach. Now, I mean, if we were waiting on Rex Burkhead to do that, man, we might well go ahead and. I mean, that's not no shine off of Rex Burkhead.
Just facts. No. Just facts.
Yeah. I mean, but Burkhead ideal, and I'm gonna be candid with you, AJ. I'm sort of going like, huh, Burkhead? But the thing about it, he's sure-handed. Yeah. And that's the one thing. And plus the fact that he's that one he of the backs that we have, and let's face it, I mean, we can sort of go like, I mean, that stable of backs that we have, or what's remaining, what they call backs or running backs that we have right now, but you're right, they averaged about 2.0 yards a carry today. And so you sort of look at it, but you go like Burkhead is that he's that third down back that really you don't have to lead the field because you can have a whole playbook with him in there.
Correct.
And here's the other thing, he's not gonna get your quarterback killed neither. Because
he is gonna step up and pick up the blitz and help chip somebody that they might be having trouble with. Rex Burkhead, like you said, was the right back for the conditions. You didn't need anybody tipping, tapping back there in the backfield trying to figure out what they were going to do. You needed somebody to make a decision and go. And also, by the way, that does eat up clock when you're able to get some first downs after third down. But, I'm just saying, again, it goes back to Coach Kelly. He's not a flashy coach. He's not a bombastic coach. He's not going to say anything that makes you go, ooh, ah, unless you're just looking for something like some people we know. But they won David Culley style today. They won with good defense. They won, for the most part, not turning the ball over and taking advantage of the turnovers that they got. So, is this a reclamation on the team? No. Is this a reclamation on his coaching? No. Is it? But let's just say this now. People go talk about the conditions. The other team in the conditions put up 400 plus yards. At some point, they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Tim Kelly. at some point they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Tim Kelly. Does Tim Kelly have a system, or can Tim Kelly be a good offensive coordinator? The difference is my system is based on me having the right players to make it work. A good offensive coordinator can put a system around the players that he has. And I don't know if he can do that yet, because the one holdover from the Bill O'Brien regime is Tim Kelly, and we still see what we saw today. We can't blame that on the weather, because the other team didn't have weather problems like that. Their offense produced. They just turned the ball over more that they could survive.
Well, you know, I think you raised some very valid issues as far as Tim Kelly is concerned, because I think you and I had conversations after about the second or third victory, and I think it was clear. And I even asked the coach in one of the press, did y'all shorten the playbook down with Davis Mills? No, we didn't. I mean, come on, come on. This not acid rain hitting my face.
Right.
Don't do that. I mean, let's face it.
Just tell the truth.
The playbook, the playbook with Tyrod is totally different than the playbook with Davis Mills. And then and let's just be honest and factual and just move beyond that, because the dimension and that Tyrod adds with his legs. And the thing about it, Tyrod is a 11-year veteran. Tyrod is looking to stay in the pocket, or he'll move around, he'll move his feet. And Tyrod does not jump up soon. Tyrod will go through 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll go through all his progressions, and if he still has the time, he's gonna move in the pocket and still go back through his progression. And you look at a guy like Brandon Cook, and they understand the nuances on how to understand what's happening. Okay. You know, they yell, they got their code words, fire alarm or whatever they yell out there. And then they start scrambling around, looking around, looking for open spots, and then trying to figure out, make themselves big for the quarterback. Because, Tyrod mentioned it today, the fact that on one of he sort of had to slide in the pocket, because, his field of vision, because, let's face it, Tyrod's not the tallest quarterback in the world, but his field of vision. And so he had to slide it as soon as he slid, then he got a chance to make some throws. So you have to take that and realize, this is what we have, and whatever chances, whatever successes we want to have, and let's go ahead and address this issue right now, AJ.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about, we want to get the draft picks. Who in the devil say they gonna make the right picks? Okay.
Come on, man. I mean, you said it best. Just because you have the pick don't mean you're going to choose the right person.
Yes.
We don't know if this regime can do that yet. Just because they made the picks that they made this past draft doesn't mean that, A, all those picks are going to pan out, because you need about 3 seasons before you know if a pick is really going to pan out. And B, you got to dig for some diamonds in the rough this time around. And I don't know if Nick Caserio, and let's go ahead and say his name, Jack Easterby, and those guys can do that. I don't know that, and we just got to see. And again, this will be the first time that they'll be picking as early in the draft as they will, unless they do something dumb between now and the end of the year.
Well, I think what dumb would mean, like, well, let's go ahead and say if the Texans get on a roll and win in these next several games, that would blow them. And I know some people in this. I know some of our colleagues be about ready to have a hemorrhage if they did do that. But let's face it, as far as Culler's concerned, Culler's he's there to coach. That's his job. Old saying about what Herm Edwards, you play the game to win.
Right.
If you're going in there playing, we playing the game to get draft picks. Well, okay, you know what? Why don't? But prove to me that you can go find diamonds in the rough. I haven't seen that yet. I want to see that. Prove to me that you can go find receivers. Prove to me that you can go find. Okay, New England has been able to come back and get some Division 3 players, some Division 2 players, and come back and they have fit into their system and from week to week. I haven't seen. I'm not on board yet that system is in place, and we got all the people, because where are you guys? I mean, what is the scouting department looking like? What are you looking for? And so those are issues right now that's really, we need to be talking about this right now because I mean, let's face it, and you and I both have heard it. Everybody came saying, well, let's ought to be Cully's last year. I think he signed a 3-year contract. Okay. And so, well, he hadn't proved out exactly. If he had won every game and done everything right, I still think that those naysayers would have been there. Those very same
definitely.
naysayers would have still been there, and they
Right.
would have still been wanting to find something to criticize and say, well, he didn't do this right. Again, going back, well, that was an ugly win. Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Listen, when you ride an 8-game losing streak, that a win is a win, is a win, is a win. They got the win. Like I said, looking ahead, you do have a lot of decisions that you have to make. You're going to have to address the running backs. You're going to have to address the wide receiving core. You're going to have to address your quarterback situation. But then again, you got to address the play caller. You can have all the best pieces in the world, but if you have a suspect play caller that's inconsistent, that cannot put the right game plan in place for the players that he has, then you're just gonna put a hitch on the back of a Maserati and be doing something with it that it was never meant to do.
That's a heck of an analogy, AJ. I'm
I got
trying
that, Doc. I
just
got that, Doc.
I'm just trying. I'm sitting there trying to figure out does a Maserati even have anything on the back that you could put a hitch on? Never mind.
So listen, think about how wrong you got to go to make that happen. And that's what some people do when they don't have the right people in place. I'm not knocking Tim Kelly. I'm not saying he's a bad dude or anything like that. But man, when you can't get anything more than 190 yards and the other team, oh yeah, the weather, but the other team put up 420.
Yeah.
And something's wrong. Something's wrong. You got to look at why your team was not as effective as the other team. I mean, that's over half. They doubled you up plus in offensive output. That ain't just on your defense either, by the way, because your offense gives your defense the breaks and the rest that it needs to be healthy and fresh enough to be able to stop the other team. So folks will. You said it. Folks will move the goalposts even on a win to find something negative to say. So, I think the Texans this year are going to have a whole lot of questions, just like they did, after Game 4 last year when they made the decision to move away from Bill O'Brien. They got as many questions this season as they did last season.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the fact. I mean, let's face it. This could be the Texans right now could be a NBA case study,
Yeah.
and they could be an NBA case study. I mean, you name it. I mean, Texas Southern Prairie View, University of Houston. I'm not even going to work. I'm not even talking about going to Harvard or going up to the Ivy League. I mean, this could be a case study on how a NFL franchise can implode onto itself.
Yeah.
Because and so you can just continue to be amazed and hopefully we'll see. But you know what? Like I say, let's enjoy the victory. I mean,
Yeah.
they got a
Exactly.
victory. Let's let's
Exactly.
let's,
Exactly.
let's
Exactly.
go ahead. Let's go ahead and enjoy the victory. Let's face it, because the Astros are done. I mean,
Right.
so all we got to know, everybody could be sitting there waiting on, well, we know Verlander signed. The Carrera's gone. I mean, as
He
far as
needs to
I'm
be
concerned,
gone.
he's
He needs to
gone.
be gone. Yeah.
He's
Please go.
gone. He's
Bye
gone.
bye. Bye bye.
No, he's
Bye
gone.
bye.
No, I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it, he's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
He wants
Yeah.
he wants his contract, and I can't
Yeah.
blame him. He got to,
I ain't mad at him.
I'm not
Just
mad
go
at
get
him.
it.
Yeah, go
Just
get
go
your
get
money.
it.
You got a
Yeah.
World Series, so and we got Chris. We got the team that Chris is following. And that we got a bunch of young thoroughbreds over there at Toyota Center that Chris gonna jump on and we keep waiting. Now they got the losing streak now, so
Right.
hopefully they can can they get the mixture right? I mean, and we can't be candid with you, man. I want to see these guys. I want to see these youngsters, mold in jail. And I don't want to see this coach leave. I would like to see
Yeah.
this coach have an opportunity with his players, and
Yep.
it just takes some time. And I just hope that maybe Chris will jump in here and tell us. I mean, his thought process on them, but I just hope they don't get impatient. And
You woke him up.
I
You
woke
woke
him
him
up.
up. There he is.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
Chris. I mean, are we being far fetched and then that the folks are getting nervous over there at Toyota Center? They don't believe in the product or the coach or what they got on the floor.
The fans are getting nervous. I had another good live stream talk Saturday night on my channel with the Rocket fans, and you got a few folks wanting Coach Silas to be fired, but the majority of them understand. Well, I think have begun to realize the Rockets are young and they're just not very good. So they're not trying to lose on purpose. They're just not very good. They're getting a lot of wide open shots for two reasons. One, the offense is working, but two, because the other team is like, y'all can't make these shots anyway, so go ahead and take them anyhow. And they're missing these wide open shots. But that's part of the offense. So the offense is working, but they don't have enough good shooters, good/great shooters to knock down these open looks. And they played well Saturday against the Knicks, but they still found a way to lose. Eric Gordon, bad turnover. Eric Gordon's a vet, an NBA vet. DJ Augustine, turnovers. If your veterans are making mistakes, then what do you expect the youngsters to do?
And they still learning, and that's the thing about it. Christian Woods. I mean, I've seen. I'm gonna just ask you straight up. I mean, you seem to be putting your laser focus on Christian Woods now, Chris. I mean, why?
Oh, well, I mean, because he asked for it. He wants to be the leader of the team. He wants to smoke. He wants to be a max player. He believes in himself to be a max player. He ain't, but he wants to be that. And I respect him to want to be to be paid like a max player. He just is not. And the Rockets management, I think, believes that, and it sees it more and more every day. Christian Wood, some of his post-game comments yesterday, stuff he told the media, you just don't say publicly. I just do what I'm told when I'm on the floor. Man, that's not for us to hear publicly. You say that in the locker room, say that to us off the record. But he put it out there, so I put it out there too. I just do what I'm told on the floor. Okay, Christian. Make those free throws in. So I'm telling you, make free throws in, Christian. If you just do what you're told.
I was going to jump in on that real quick, Chris, because they shot better from the field. They still shot horribly from the three. But, man, it's just no excuse for the free throws, Doc. You can't shoot 55, 56, 57% from the free throw line and expect to stay in close games. That's where those games are won and lost. And again, with comments like that, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You want something, you're not getting what you want. It's starting to come out of you that you're a little bit disgruntled that you're not getting what you want. But you need to have your mind in a gym somewhere focusing on your free throw. You're not Shaquille O'Neal. You don't have problems with your hands being too big and all that. Get in there, work on your free throws, win some games, and, brother, you can let your numbers speak for themselves. But right now, they're speaking against what he's trying to get done.
But I think an issue is beginning to develop that it'll be up to them how big of an issue it becomes. Jalen Green said last night after the game, he was asked if basically, well, I don't know what he was asked because we couldn't hear the questions on the Zoom call because the NBA standard is trash for some teams. It's still not the same thing. But it was about being a leader. Jalen said, he wants to be more of a leader on the court in the locker room, but he's a rookie. But he's getting to that point where, how do I do it? How do I be the team leader that the franchise wants him to become? But how does he do it as a rookie? How does he take the ball from Eric Gordon and say, I got this? Let me run the offense now, coach. Put everything on my shoulders. I do this. Because if he does do that tomorrow, in December, January, how will Christian Wood respond to that? How would he say, you're a rookie, man. I'm leader on this team. Would that become an issue? Will Eric Gordon say, you're a rookie. You're not ready for this. Will that become a problem? I'm just tossing it out there as a possibility.
Yeah, no. Gotcha.
Because Jalen Green if he knows the offense, which he may not know it, as he's still young. Part of being a leader is you have to know where your teammates are supposed to be at all times on the floor in the offense. Right. You here, that's you in the wrong spot. He has to know, get in the right spots, all those things. If he does that this season, January, let's say January, it'll be good for him and the Rockets going forward, but will it be a problem for the veterans like Christian Wood, like House, like Augustine, like Errol Gordon?
Let me assess the youngsters. If you had to put a grade, where would you judge their basketball IQ? Because to me, these kids, if they want to assume that mantra, I think you got to start with their basketball IQ. Have they played enough basketball yet to even understand the game?
That's a great question, AD.
It really is.
Because one thing Coach Silas said probably within the last 2 weeks is he was asked about if he's trying to change what he's coaching, spend more time on certain things, the development, basically the IQ of his team. He has said that some things he's teaching, the team has picked up quickly, which surprised him. But some things he's trying to implement, he needs to say over and over and over again, longer than he would like to. So it's a balance. So some things they are picking up, no problems. But there are other things that they're still having problems learning how to do. So that is an issue. And I hate doing this, but because they were 1-2 in the draft, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, you ask the Piston players who the leader is of the team, it's Cade Cunningham. Period. It's Cade Cunningham. He is not the best player yet because that's Jeremy Grant. But the leader of the team is Cade Cunningham. You can't do that here. Jalen Green is not the leader of this Rockets. And that is an issue that needs to be resolved at some point this season, going forward.
Okay. Well, hey, I could say, hey, this sort of like we went to the salad bar, man, and just sort of we sort of went to the salad bar and just threw
what we're missing is some water and some tea and some juice to while we chop it up and discuss things. That's what we're missing.
Oh well, I'm sorry, I can't show that right now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, as always, man. Like I say, it's good to get on the corner. Like I say, this is sort of the vision where we always had of being on the corner and just sitting there and just taking a potpourri of issues. Ideally, the main course is always going to be the Texans, but I wanted to always open it up and expand it and just bring these minds in and just go because let's face it, this is our platform. We can do what we want with it. And this is one of the unique things about it. No, that's okay. This is my table and I can set it. If I want to put 3 forks on this side and 5 knives on that side, well, that's not the proper decorum. This is my table though. Okay. And if I want to drink out the finger bowl, I'm not advising that. I know you don't drink out the finger bowl. You use it for what it is, but I do know how to use the finger bowl and I know how to use the napkin. But the fact of the matter is, if we want to just have ribs and lick our fingers after eating ribs, so be it. Just have some ribs, man. But Mr. Jones, as always, bro, I appreciate you, man. And it's gonna be interesting, man. Next week, because let me tell you something. This might be this game coming up Sunday might be one of the Texans' toughest games, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because nobody expects nothing for the New York Jets.
Right.
The Jets haven't won a game yet. Right. It would be pathetic for the Jets to come in here and win a game, and because you got 2, and I'm gonna be candid with you. I'm being selfish with my comments right now. Chris, I'm trying to get to the other 2 victories.
That's hilarious.
Today's win proved me wrong because they got 2. I said they're going to get 1, so I'm already wrong on that. So
yeah, now the Jets already have 2 wins. The Jets had 2 wins before the Texans did.
Right.
Oh, they do.
So
okay,
you think of the line.
No, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. But I'm just saying the Texans are riding a 1-game winning streak, bro. So they don't need to have that streak broken by the Jets, Jets.
Oh, okay. I haven't been. All I knew is every time I look at the Jets were losing, so I didn't. They already won 2. Well, hey, it's the NFL, man. But these past couple of weeks, the way I mean, last week in the NFL was just like, are you kidding me? That last week was like, I mean, the whole atmosphere turned upside down. So anyway, guys, as we get ready to sort of step off the corner, AJ, appreciate you as well, Mr.
Thank you, man, as
Gardner.
always.
Thank
Yeah,
you, brother.
Mr. Gardner, thanks for jumping in and adding some vichyssoise to the plate tonight. We really appreciate it. And as always, this is your man, Adolphus AD
Mr.
Moore.
Moore.
Yes, sir.
Don't you want me to play the tribute, sir?
Yeah. I tell you what. Let me close, and then let's play the tribute in the very close. I'm gonna go ahead and tell folks, ciao. Please, I've mentioned this, but I want to just go back. I don't know if AJ heard it earlier that this tribute is to Mrs. Beatrice Lehman Green. She was 108 years old, and as I mentioned earlier, she was the matriarch of Holy Cross Lutheran Church. She came out of Mansoria, Louisiana, and of that family, there were several Lutheran pastors that came out of that particular family. She was a dynamic woman. She was one of the city of Houston's famed that core hardcore civil rights leaders and advocates, and particularly when we are experiencing voting the issue with the states trying to cut back on voting rights. She was literally on her and several others, the Leroy Moses and everybody were on the forefront in trying to just get the right to vote. And part of the thing that she established a legacy with a man by the name of James A. Baker III, the 61st Secretary of State who served under the Reagan and Bush administration. In fact, basically, she was sort of one that for ostensibly speaking, helped raise James Baker. And he stated in his tribute to Mrs. Green the fact that a lot of who he was and just understanding and appreciating people and understanding the plight of other folks directly related to this lady that you see on your screen right now. So I'm just want to take this time, folks, and just pay a mountain of tributes to Mrs. Beatrice Lehman Green, who, and let's face it, I love her to death. She got a chance to, and I'm gonna say this, and I'll say that when that Sunday after Barack Obama was elected president, and I asked her, did she ever think she would be able to see a president that looked like her in her lifetime? And she just simply said no. But now she, in 2018, at the Baker Institute, had Barack Obama here. And there's a picture, if you ever get a chance, come by Holy Cross Lutheran Church at 2702 Rosalie and Nagel. There's a picture of Mrs. Green with the president, or the 43rd president of the 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama, and her, that same person that she never thought that she would see elected. Somebody would look like her as president. You would see her there. So without further ado, folks, I appreciate it, and I just wanted to take the time to pay homage to a beautiful lady, a beautiful soul. You're going to be missed. You're going to be dearly missed. But you know what? You now reside with the Lord. You go back with you and Allie Green now. Y'all back together again. So this is your guy, Adolphus AD Moore. Ciao. Mrs. Green, I love you. That's it, folks. I appreciate you.